are getting started. Hey, check it. I think I'm live. Am I live? Only you will know for sure. I'm James Kingsley here doing my thing. And what is that thing? I don't even know. I just do it and I put it out here. And I hope you guys come and either enjoy it, be a part of it, or whatever. I seem to be having some little glitchy technical problems here. I don't know what that's happening. Okay. Pardon me if I get lagging and things like that. We're just trying this out. This is the Google thingamajig. Did I point the right way? Is it Google over here? I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to be here for the next couple of hours, just rambling on about things, and that's what I do. But meanwhile, we're going to have a Warriors of Love convention. Yes, that means that those of you who have love in your heart, who think in terms of love, who want to be a part of this whole Be Love movement or Love Warrior movement or whatever you want to call it. Well, actually not warrior. More like soldier. I don't know. I hate the term war. Don't you? I hate war, negativity, division. We see a lot of that happening right now. Presidents, kings, whatever your social order, we see a lot of that happening right now. A lot of change. A lot of people are pretty scared. Not really able to feel the love, to be the love, to think about love. There's no time for love. We have to change the world by forcing it. We got to force it. They're wrong. I'm right. That person's right. They're more evil. Oh my goodness, we're all so stressed out. Just trying to determine what's right, what's wrong. We're in a battle for our spirit, for ourself. Because you're really the only thing you can win ultimately. You know, I can only help you to win yourself. I can't even tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell people what to think, what to be. So for the next couple hours, I'm here just kind of battling on behalf of love. I'll be talking about love, what it means. I got, let's see, let me check PJ over here, make sure he's got it. I'm on now, PJ. I hope let's see if I should be on the air. I will put check it. Okay, pardon me for the unprofessionality. We'll cut this out or something later. Maybe not. I like honesty. When you put stuff out there, see, the thing is, honesty is so important. We've got to be honest and upfront with each other. If we don't put it all on the table and carry it out there with each other, holding hands, if you will, trying to make something work together, we're not going to get anywhere. And I say that, I mean together. We're being divided, folks. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Yeah, I should be on the air. I don't know. I'm not showing of course, I'm over here. I'm over there. Where am I? Where did I go? I was here a moment ago. Oh, there we go. I do show I'm live at the moment. So hopefully, yeah, I got at least one viewer. Hey, is that PJ? Nice to have you here. Anyway, this is kind of a test show, if you will. This gets recorded. A lot of people watch what I do either by video or not at all. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be doing this anyway. And PJ, I'd love to have you come in on here, but I don't know how to invite you on. How do I do that? This is all very new. And then you could come on and you can go, you know, you could be my my cohort of the evening if you're here, if you want to. You don't have to, because love's like that. Love just accepts what comes. But let me know. I got you over there on my Facebook. Oh, I think that's you now, dinging my dong. No, that sounds bad. Anyway. I'm just learning how to use all this. I'm also over on the chat board over here at Axiom Curb. Got a couple of people in here. I see PJ's on that. There we go. I see PJ is on. I'm on, he says. Yay. So come on over, hang out on the chat board. I'm going to be posting this stuff on here. PJ, if you'd help me out, this is all very new to me. So, and we'll just kind of go with it. Because, you know, it's all about the love, baby. Love, peace. Sunday. It's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I'm here with a drink. Let's see. Today's drink is Mike's Hard Tropical Mango Lemonade, and I want the money, Mike, for saying that. Anyway, he probably won't pay it. Probably sue me for showing his beverage on the air, but ooh, we're gonna have a little here. Very good. Anyway, what was I going to talk about today? Oh yes, love, 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 love. That seems to be the only thing I talk about anymore. It seems to be the only thing that I really care about anymore, because all this other stuff to me gets in the way. All this division, all this separation. We're going to be talking today. If you want to come in, like I say, come over and chat with us over in the communications board at axiomcurb.org / yeah, communications, and then you can come chat. I guess I'm over on live events. I don't know how to get to the board over here on live events on whatever. Anyway, just understand, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just trying so hard. So just play along and pretend you like the show. And in fact, if you want to become a fan, that's cool too. Or really, I'm not looking for fans so much as I'm looking for friends, people who want to come together, be a part of each other, be a community. And I'm not trying to be a leader. In fact, I just would be happy being an equal with loving, caring, kind people. So what I try to do is promote this loving kindness and hope maybe we can all get together somehow through all of these differences, through all of these right and left politicses, through all this ups and downs of life. Maybe we can find a place where we can all just get along. You know, I find the key for me, at least, is in what's called love, compassion, caring, understanding. Those seem to work for me. So I hope they'll work for you. That's how we become love warriors, by the way. We have the courage to do those things, to be the softie, to take it sometimes for love. Ooh, that's a hard one, huh? We want to think of love as always soft and cushy and everything's wonderful and love and rainbows and unicorns and happy things. But sometimes love gets in your face. Yes, I am love. It says. In whatever way, I just got this. I had to get one too, just so I had it. Anyway, you all know what that is, right? But anyway, not that I'm not really a part of any like group, just so you know. I don't like joining things. I'm kind of that hermit that sits on the hill and kind of burps, and people say, "Oh, that was pretty wise," and that's what I always just want to be. So, and I ramble a lot, and I go here, there, and everywhere. So please bear with me. Those that love me understand, and those that don't make fun of me, and that's okay either way, so long as you come and be a part of my life for just a few brief moments, like here on this whatever we're doing. Anyway, those of you here listening, however you're listening, watching by video, whatever, I'm glad you're here. I wanted to give us a preface of what love is in my book, and I kind of have to go back to something. Now, here's the thing, okay? I don't want to get all about religion because religion's another divisive issue. But sometimes I'm going to use references from various religious books. Is that okay? Because sometimes what those books have to say are pretty darn cool. The rest of it, you can decide what it means to you, because you know what? In my way of thinking, I'm not your judge. What you think, believe, none of my business, none of my affair. I don't get any bonus points for making you believe what I believe. Wouldn't happen that way. What matters to me is that you just listen to what I have to say, try to incorporate maybe a little bit into your life too, if that has some kind of benefit or merit. If it doesn't, that's fine also. I try to promote love, compassion, understanding, reason, logic. Yeah, that's important too. Truth, justice, and the American way. God, I'm the Batman, aren't I? No, I'm Superman. No, I am just a guy, and I'm here to bring you love. So let's go to a verse from the Bible. I know that half the room left right now. It's all right. I'm going to read it anyway. It's a good description of love. I'm going to bring it out. It says, love is patient. Love is kind. Love doesn't envy, doesn't boast. It's not proud. Doesn't dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they'll cease. Where there are tongues, they'll be stilled. And where there's knowledge, it will pass away. What will be the remainder? In my book, it's love. Pure and simple. Love is the thing that brings us all together, the magnet that draws us together. It's the thing where we can all find, we all kind of agree we want in one way or another. Oh, there's many kinds of love. I'm going to be talking about some of those today, because there's more than one kind of love. And some of it can get pretty ugly. Oh, yeah. So understand that this is not for the weak of heart. Today we're talking about the warfare of love. Dun, dun, dun. So are you all warriors of love? I hope so. Let me check in here with a couple places, see what's going on, see if anything's happened on the board here. I don't know. PJ's asking where Ian is today. I don't know. He's probably listening or watching. Hi, Ian. You know, he's going to watch in video. See, a lot. PJ, you got to realize a lot of people who kind of want to listen to what I have to say often listen by video, and I understand that. So I take that into consideration when I talk. I'm not as much of a board guy. You know, I love the board and I want to hear what people have to say, but it's not my main focus because I usually come into this when I do a show, if you will, with a goal in mind of where I want to go. But I'm always open to board. And you know what? I learned from you guys. I want you to understand, I humble myself to you too. You might know more than me. Just don't ever call me an idiot because you know what? I'm willing to learn. So don't try to people often try to like play this game that I know more than you or I'm better than you. Don't play that with me. I won't play it with you. I'm just going to share with you what I've learned along the way. I don't want you to form beliefs around me. I want you to form ideas for you, for me, for everybody. Maybe these ideas will bring us all together again. Exactly, PJ. He said PJ came onto the chat board here. He says the battle of love, and that it is. You're an idiot, said the idiot. You have to think about that. I love irony. Gosh, you Brits, I love your irony. We Americans, we don't always get that. I grew up around all of the British comedies and things like that, so I was like, if you've been Monty Python, then you understand irony, and or maybe not. I don't know. Some people don't understand anything anymore. So sad. I look around me. You know, let's talk about politics for a second. Let's get that out of the way. Politics is a divisive issue. And in the United States right now, we've got this thing called dun, 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 an election. Look at what I got. Look what's enclosed in here. See, that's probably, I don't know. Can you read that? Ballot enclosed. This is my ballot. I haven't opened it yet. Let me open it here on the air. Ooh, let's look and see what's in the ballot. Dun, dun, dun. Isn't this exciting? Aren't you glad you came? All right, here we go. This is how they do it in Oregon. This is how I vote in Oregon. Okay? I want you to understand, just so you know. This is a throwaway. All right, we're going to put that over there. This is my official ballot. I should probably cover up my address so people don't show up at my house and kill me, but there we go. That's my official ballot thing there. That's what I'm going to send in. That's the envelope. Goes in. Got a little hole in it. Oh, I am the Illuminati. Okay. All right. We got another whole thing. See? I'm Illuminati too. Anyway, here we go. This is the optional security sleeve. So if you want optional security, you can put it right in here. All right, I'm going to leave that over there because I might want optional security. All righty, here we go. We're having fun now, aren't we? I should just do this. You know what I should just do? I should just like do this like a dartboard. Shouldn't I? You think so? I think I'd be like, okay, which one should I vote for? Let's just do this behind my back. And it's none of the above. Anyway, no, what's on here? All right, let's see what my choices are. Choices? Ah! Oh, people, why do you think? This is all an explanation. Let's see here. I want to understand. Need to understand the law. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. All righty, then. This is going to tell me all about what that, yeah, I better read this before I vote, eh? Ugh. Yeah, every American citizen's got time to read all that. Plus the ballot book. I should show you the book they send you. They send you a little book. Well, it's not little. It's about this thick, and it's got all this stuff, and then pros and cons and all that. Let's see. Who do I get choices to vote for? For those, if I even choose to vote. I'm going to put the pen down. I'm not voting right now, but I'm looking. Federal offices. Here, federal offices. There you go. I get to vote for either Republican Donald J. Trump, U.S. president, with Mike Pence as his vice president, or Democrat Hillary Clinton, U.S. president Tim Kaine. He has a son named Co. But no, Tim Kaine will be the vice president, apparently, if Hillary wins. And then, of course, we've got Jill Stein, Gary Johnson. Now, I understand that there's also this line down here where you can write anyone you want down there. So there's a lot of other options available if you want, or you can vote for one of these monkey clowns or whatever. And of course, most of this is like local issues and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's look at what's on here. All right, I'm just going to read. These are some of the ballot measures that we're going through here in Oregon. I'm in, by the way, the Pacific Northwest here in Oregon. Ballot measure number, okay, what's this? Number 95. Amends Constitution allows investments in equities by public universities to reduce financial risk and increase investments to benefit students. I would vote maybe on that. Okay. Number 96, amends Constitution, dedicates 1.5% of state lottery net proceeds to funding support services for Oregon veterans. Now, see, I would have to say I would vote yes for that, because that's just like gambling money that's going. That's not like taxes, that's gambling, I think, right? State lottery, it's gambling money. So, okay. So, yeah, I would probably vote yes for that, because I'm like, let's give them some money. We need to give money to our vets. A lot of them need money. All right. Proposed initiative petition increases, this is 97, increases corporate minimum tax when state sales exceeds 25 million, funds education, healthcare, senior services. Now, that one's kind of a big thing here right now. It's like it's pro, it's con. I can see big business is kind of like funding all the anti-campaigns, so that kind of makes me want to go, things that make you go, Anyway, I won't bore you with the rest of it. I have to bore myself, apparently, and then make sure I put it in the optional security sleeve, along with this envelope that takes it to the Washington County Elections Division, which is here in Beaverton, Oregon, which is where I live. All right, that's enough. Aren't you excited? Oh, that is so exciting. All right. This was more exciting, I think, than the election, that I got this silly mask. And it was supposed to be free, but it cost me $7. I had to see what it was like. There was an ad on Facebook. Okay, I ordered this. It was like I think it was $7.99. It was like, send it to you free, but you have to pay shipping and handling. So of course, shipping and handling is like $7.99. But I could probably go down to the Halloween shop and get this for less than $5. But I got it free through the internet. I just wanted to see what happened. So sometimes I check things out. I do crazy stuff like that. I do. Sometimes I'm a little mental. Sometimes I question me. It's okay, because you know what? Where love is, you can make lots of crazy choices and do lots of crazy things. Love's a wonderful thing. It assuages you. It brings peace to you in times when you're in stress. It brings humor at times when it's hard to laugh. I was posting a few things on my my Facebook. I have a particular man who's now passed on. I had a chance to actually see him live in Nevada once, and it was just a beautiful experience. His name was Leo Biscaglia. He was also known as Dr. Hug, or whatever, the Hug Doctor, or Dr. Love. He was one of these people who he really focused his mind and his career on what is love and what is love all about. And he would go around lecturing all over the country about what is love, what it's all about, and what are some of the important things about real love, not just relationship love, because we'll talk later. The Greeks had 6 different names for love. I used to say it just was 3. I found I was corrected myself when I researched this recently. The Greeks had 6 different names for love. We'll get to that. So stick around. Check it out. That's what I'm all about here, by the way, is promoting lovers to be lovers so they can go out and love the world. So if you're here and you're a lover of people, then you're in the right place. I just want to help promote you give you some tools that you can take out there and learn to love the world. Because see, I'm going to win when you win, when we all win together. And love is part of what I think is going to do that for us. Now, it doesn't mean, by the way, pansy-ass love. I'm talking about the kind of love that would die for love. Okay, not violent love, but assertive love. A love that says there is a wall. A tough love. And we'll talk about that later, too. Let me go back to Leo Biscaglia. If you ever get a chance to see his videos, which, by the way, I do post often if you're on my Facebook, I really appreciate this guy. I just love the way he speaks and the way he emotes. He always, when he does a lecture, the first thing he does is he takes off his tie and his suit jacket and he just gets down to being human, to being real. Because the first step really in any of this, if you really want to be loved, is to first get real with others, with yourself. That's the hardest part, is falling in love with you again, because you usually have let yourself down. But let's just look for a moment. Let's kind of leave that, and it's kind of a darker place. But I'm going to go over here to some quotes. These are Leo Buscaglia quotes. Let me just read them off, and we'll kind of think about them as I read. Risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. Too often, we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. The easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them put you in that position. Again, I'm just kind of going through quotes here that Leo Buscaglia said. This is one that seemed to be popular, but yet also people argued over it a little bit. Love is always open arms. If you close your arms about love, you will find that you're left holding only yourself. Too often we underestimate the power of touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. To love is to risk. Not being loved in return. To hope is to risk pain. To try is to risk failure. But risk must be taken because the greatest hazard in my life is to risk nothing. Don't hold on to anger, hurt, or pain. They steal your energy and keep you from love. And that was the one that really got the most. And there was some. And you know what? Here's the thing. I always listen to other people's viewpoints. I think it's important. I don't want to argue with people anymore. What I want to do is absorb their viewpoints and try to understand where they're coming from. Because we all are different. We're all unique. Each of us has a different perspective on things, depending on where we grew up, who our parents were, what church or synagogue or mosque or whatever thing we went to, and where our brains were trained, including television and the media, by the way. We have to include those things. Most of them, by the way, teach us how to divide, or how to feel like we never have enough. I mean, it's very important, by the way, in a consumerist culture you will never have enough. Love, by the way, satiates that need for never having enough. If you can truly generate enough of it. You ever feel in love? You ever be in, when you're so high in love with somebody that you just don't even think logically. You don't need to eat. You don't need sleep. You just, the whole life is just, you absorb this other person. If you've never been in that kind of love, I highly recommend you do. It's a beautiful time. It's not always permanent, but it is a beautiful thing when it happens. But that's not the kind of love that we have for each other. But we have, in fact, most of us here on the internet have the kind of love where it's just, we have a connection. You listen to me, I listen to you, we connect in some way, whether it be on Facebook or whatever, and then we value what the other person brings to the table. Because that's what I do. When I'm on Facebook, for example, I go through a lot of stuff and I pick out the things that I feel, are going to uplift or make laugh, because humor is good too. I like stuff like political stuff when it makes fun of both sides or all sides or just the system itself, which is broken. That I find kind of funny. When it points out the flaws of one other individual or tries to look at or negates another person for the purposes of trying to make your person or your candidate look better, that's sided. I'm not real into that, because right now if I gave you my political opinion, half of you would walk away. Why? Most of us are judging by what the political opinion of another person is. They want to know, who are you voting for? I showed you my thing. I have the opportunity to vote if I want, or I can leave that there till after the election and go, oops. And you say, oh, but dude, if you don't vote, you're going to be responsible for all the... No, in some cases, the act of not acting is a bigger vote. But that's up to you. I don't make those choices for you. And maybe if you want to vote a certain way, that's up to you. But I should be able to do that. It's called freedom. That's what we're all supposed to be voting for anyway, is my freedom not to vote or to vote or not to vote whichever I want or whatever I want, or to not vote for certain things and vote for others is my choice, right? Because that's private. It's in the ballot box. A lot of us scream it all over the streets, and the problem is other people get offended by it. They judge us by it. Again, a division, which is how people in power keep their power. Division. Because love's uniting. Hate and what would be the other thing? Would be apathy. Apathy is worse, I think, than hate. Because apathetic people don't care. Apathetic people don't really even understand love because they don't really want to love because it doesn't matter to them. These are people who give up. These are people who consign themselves to the idea that life just sucks no matter what, and I'm not going to like life no matter what happens to me. So you have to choose what you like about life. It does, parts of it do suck, no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through. Right now, especially, there's some sucky things. We have some problems here in America right at the moment. What are we going to do about these problems is everybody has a different answer. I don't always know. I'm not sure what the answer is. Everybody's like, well, this way would work and that way would work. And the problem is that it almost says like we had to get rid of this government we've got. But if we do that, then we're going to have all these tribal conflicts of people who believe in all these different other ways. And I'm not sure I'd be satiated or satisfied with where it ended up. Otherwise, I would be like, hey, anarchy city, man, just give it all out. Let's trust. Anarchy requires trust. Those people who espouse anarchy, it means we have to trust our fellow humans. And I would love anarchy if it were possible. I don't know if it's possible with the current way in which people are, because they haven't learned to love yet, to have compassion, to have acceptance. In my world, all the political change in the world will mean nothing unless we first change our heart, our inner being, who we are, who you and I are. And I talk for myself too, because you know what? I'm the #1 offender in everything I talk about. You know how many times I catch myself doing the very things I speak against? I'm such a hypocrite at times. But I'm still going to try. I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to go, oh shit, I had some hypocrisy there. Okay, well, I'm wrong. Be willing to admit when you're wrong. Don't hide anything. I've posted stuff that was wrong on the internet before. I don't hide it. I don't try to go, oh, well, let me see if I can get rid of that because then, you know, I won't look like an idiot. I'm willing to look like an idiot. Anybody want to make fun of me? Great. It would help my career. The crazy guy with no teeth who talks about love on the internet. Yeah, go ahead. Make a music video. I don't care. Use bits and pieces. I don't care. I would love to, anything that gets love out there to me is a win. I like how no matter whether Trump wins or loses, it's a win for him. I heard he's going to start a TV station. I don't know. This is weird, you know? Trump TV. Kind of weird. If he gets elected to president, not very likely, he will probably be the first president to ever have his own TV station named after him before he died. I still think that if Trump wins, we're going to have to vote on whether or not we call America the United States of America anymore or the United States of Trump. Now, I think it should be UST now. UST. Be spectacular, be great, be big. Believe me. I'm always a little cautious of people who say, believe me. Thou protesteth too much. So I don't ask anybody to believe me. I say, watch me. See if my life matches my words. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to test me against my words. If you see that I don't sit there and go, nah, correct me so I can be a better person. Love is always seeking to be better, seeking to grow, seeking to develop. Not about being selfish and or thinking you're greater than anybody else. It's about the unity of us as human beings. I remember Carl Sagan used to say, you're all star stuff. And I'm like, yes, we are. We're all made of the same stuff and basically all composed of the same elements as stars. Pretty interesting, huh? All from the dirt of the ground. Star stuff. Woo! Funny how we all agree on so much and yet we try to fight over every word or concept or principle or idea. We have to demand our ideas right. Be it a certain religion or a certain political idealism or a certain skin color or a certain this or a certain that. Everybody's trying to how is that working for us? It's not. It's not bringing about love. Leo Biscaglia, again, change is the end result of all true learning. Action, the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. It's not giving a damn if somebody hates me. They must feel something, or they couldn't possibly hate. Therefore, there's some way in which you can get to them. A single rose can be my garden, a single friend, my world. Never idealize others. They will never live up to your expectations. Don't overanalyze your relationship. Stop playing games. A growing relationship can only be nurtured by genuineness, again, being real. See, at least if I'm myself, and I pretty much put myself out here on the internet as me, if I just be me, you can either choose, hey, I like that guy, or I don't like that guy. That's fine. The thing is, you're going to like me or not like me, and it's going to be about me, not some fake, fraudulent mask. Hi, I'm me. It's like, to me, the people who are strongest in some cases, the people who come out from behind the mask and say, damn it, my country's messed up. I don't need a mask to go tell them that this is messed up. In fact, I have more power as an individual, as a person, than that mask. The mask, by the way, is a symbol. It brings people together. People, I saw a thing the other day about Anonymous. Somebody was asking on my Facebook, in fact, who is the leader of Anonymous? You know, technically the whole thing was supposed to be started so there was no true leadership. It's actually a million individual ideas of what it is, or a billion, however many people are in it. To some, it's just a game. To others, it's like a club. And to the people, I often say, the people who are really involved in Anonymous actually don't like publicize it. They don't have Facebook accounts with the mask and all this. I mean, there's a few that are kind of in between that do, but the real good ones are not. They don't want to be noticed, so they're not going to get out there anywhere where they could be noticed. Those are the true hackers who get into the materials that get shown to us through WikiLeaks and all of this. By the way, I recommend looking at all sides of things, folks. You want to really understand how messed up things are. Don't just take a side and go, you know, my candidate says I should believe this. Go look at both sides and see what they believe, who they are. Question everyone and everything, and make your decisions on logic and wisdom and reason and love. Be the love you want to see in the world. Weigh out everything that you do, think, and act upon with love. Do it to the best of your ability and to the fullest of your ability. And when you mess up, admit it and be real enough to ask forgiveness of those that you may have slighted or hurt in the process of trying to be the love. Focus your energies on other people's needs, and sooner or later your own pains and needs become secondary, and then the pain that you're suffering becomes lighter, because by bearing another person's weight, they then help bear yours. It's amazing the synergy that occurs in cases like that. The ancient Greeks, as I talked about earlier, I used to say 3 words for love. I used to say, what was it? Phileo, agape, and it'll come up here in a second. Being real. Some people get down on me on my smoking. Yes, I could do that too, but I'm being real. I believe you don't want to hide even your weaknesses from each other. And yeah, I admit it's kind of a weakness. But anyway, let's go ahead. Ancient Greek, 6 words of love and why knowing them can change your life. This is actually from a place called Yes Magazine. Powerful Ideas, Practical Actions. It's from, when was it? Probably a million years ago. Yeah, 2013. But I love digging up old stuff. That's what I love the internet for. Don't just rely on the new stuff. Kind of go back, and some of the old stuff's pretty damn good. So just go back, and here's a little thing. It's talking about the various types. And I'll skip over all the preliminaries on it. It just says today's coffee culture has incredibly sophisticated vocabulary, and then ancient Greeks were just as sophisticated the way they talked about love. So let's begin with just what these types of love are. The first one is eros. Most of us know that. That's sexual passion. That's the first kind of love that most people think of. It's named after the Greek god of fertility. It's represented by the idea of sexual passion and desire. Hey, baby. But the Greeks didn't always think of it as something positive. In fact, even today, we often have trouble thinking of that as something positive. The irrational form of love that can take hold of you and possess you. It's almost like being demon possessed by love. Eros could take a hold of you and make you do things you didn't want to do. The mad, crazy part of love. And hey, you know what? Still part of love. Now here's some parts of love. Now we've passed through that. Let's move on to the next one here, philia, which sounds dirty, but it's not. It's a deep friendship kind of love. The second variety of love is philia, or friendship, which the Greeks valued far more than the base sexuality of eros. Philia concerned the deep camaraderie or friendship that developed between brothers in arms who had fought side by side in the battlefield. It was about showing loyalty to your friends, sacrificing for them, as well as sharing your emotions with them. Another kind of phileo, sometimes called storge, which I might be pronounced, or storge, embodied the love between parents and their children. See, it's kind of like how the Eskimos have many different words for snow. So too the Greeks had many words for love. Here's one that was new to me, kind of nudist. Sorry, ludus, L-U-D-U-S, or playful love. This was the Greeks' idea of playful love, which referred to their affection between children or young lovers. This is when you're kids and you don't quite get to the eros part, but you're just kind of being playful. We've all had a taste of the flirting and teasing, and that's the part you get the butterflies. Okay, the first girlfriend, first kiss kind of thing, holding hands. Yeah, that's the ludus part, or playful love. My favorite, number 4 here, it's agape. It's the one I'm trying to master. I will tell you, it's impossible to master on earth, but it's worth grasping for. It's like the force. Once you can fully grasp it and be a part of this kind of love, you're almost equal to. You've given all your power over to love, so that now you're as powerful as love. It's very hard to explain, because once you've given up the self and the ego and you've gone into love, at least as the vision holds. The closer I get, this seems to happen. Then you begin to let go of all of that pain, all of the hardship, all of the things, all of the selfishness, and begin to realize the importance of this new form of love, or what's called agape. It's called the fourth love, perhaps the most radical, was agape. It's selfless love. This was a love that you extended to all people, whether family members or distant strangers. Agape was later translated into Latin caritas, which is the origin of the word charity. C.S. Lewis referred to it as gift love, the highest form of Christian love. It also appears in other religious traditions, such as the idea of metta, or the universal loving kindness in Theravada Buddhism. There's growing evidence that agape is in dangerous decline in many countries. Empathy levels in the U.S. have declined sharply over the past 40 years. How's that? That's pretty sad, huh? The steepest fall occurring in the past decade. We urgently need a revival of our capacity to care for strangers. Caring for strangers. Caring for the unlovable. Loving the unlovable. Accepting sometimes the intolerable to the best of our ability. Deep love. To me, that's agape. Being able to love everyone without any judgment over anybody's politics, age, religion, sexuality, color. Let's go on to 5. Pragma, or long-standing love. This is another Greek love, was a mature love known as pragma. I guess it was where we get pragmatic. Let's see. This is where a deep understanding that developed between long married couples. Oh, this is where you love each other, but you sleep in separate rooms. It's the kind of love that's about being in love with somebody. I think where you just don't. It's not about like anything beyond just the fact that you're there and you care. I sort of live in some kind of that with my roommate, because at one time we were in a relationship. We now live in different rooms, so I can understand this pragma to some degree. It's the kind of love that cares in spite of caring. Pragma was about making compromises to help the relationship work over time and showing patience and tolerance. By the way, I like acceptance over that. Let's see, fiducia, or love of the self. Kind of important, I think. Didn't even the Bible say, love each other as you love yourself? Didn't say love each other more than you love yourself, or love each other in spite of what you think of yourself, or love each other, less, to love them less than you love yourself. It was this equality thing. You see, the sixth love variety is the love of self. And the clever Greeks realized there were two types. One was the unhealthy variety associated with narcissism, when you became self-obsessed and focused on personal fame and fortune. A healthier version enhanced your wider capacity to love. The idea was that if you like yourself and feel secure in yourself, you'll have plenty of love to give others, as is reflected by the Buddhist-inspired concept of self-compassion. Or, as Aristotle put it, all friendly feelings for others are an extension of a man's feelings for himself. The ancient Greeks found diverse kinds of love in relationships with a wide range of people, friends, family, spouses, strangers, and even themselves. These contrast with our typical focus on the single romantic relationship, which is where most people, when they hear me talk about love, think, or they fantasize that my version of love is just something that's over the rainbow, has just unicorns, there's no violence behind it. Folks, we need a bloodless but violent, or at least assertive form of love. No longer should those of us who are the softies, the pie in the skyers, the dreamers, the people who are a little odd up here but have a beautiful heart, those people to me are the most blessed on this planet. See, I don't weigh anybody or anything other than how much love do I see coming from that person. That includes me. And sometimes I don't weigh in very well. I mean, let's be honest. I'm incredibly honest with myself lately, sometimes even to my own detriment. Probably should check back in over here for a second, see if anything's going on over in chat. By the way, there is a chat room open. I see PJ has been there talking some stuff. That's good. And I'm not really on the chat, I guess, over here on the station. I'm still learning this stuff, so bear with me. There have been a few people who have been trying to get a hold of me here over on Facebook as well. I want to thank you guys for your kind thoughts and words and whatever. I'm just kind of closing some of this stuff out. I do, by the way, have very few friends. I'm up to that limit on Facebook. I think that's horrible. But if you'd like to be my friend, please message me. I can always find somebody who's an unactive friend who would be willing to give up their spot, And usually somebody's leaving Facebook sooner or later. So there's a few people in my lineup I just can't ask in yet. I do appreciate it. I appreciate what, if you want to call it popularity, you guys have given me, because it's allowed my voice to speak to more people. And I hope that I reach the right people with the message that I have. It's not a religious message, by the way. It's not really a deep message. It's a social message to all people of all types. It's come together, folks. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. But be excellent to each other. Learn to care. Learn to love. Some love can be tough love, though. It's not always easy. Not always easy. Not that easy being love. Anyway. Thank you. Mike's Hard Tropical Mango Lemonade, drink of the day. Mike, you can send me the money. Anyway, part of the reason I do what I do isn't just for me. Yeah, I enjoy having a place to come, having my friends on Facebook, doing little shows here and again. I hope to do better with this, by the way. This is a first thing, and I'm actually second, whatever. This is just one of those things I'm doing, and it is, I think, the first official show, by the way, in the Axiom Curb lineup. I want to encourage you guys to stick around. I will probably be going to some of the other shows along the way. I know there's a way I could invite people to be on with me. I don't know how to do that yet. So when it gets there, I'll invite some people along, and we can have actually some guests along the way. I actually have some people, by the way, I would like to line up as guests. One is very special to me, and I don't want to mention the name because it's a celebrity, but it's somebody who I think would be wonderful on what I'm trying to do with this show. And I'm hoping that she happens to tune in somehow and she'll know who she is. Don't you? Yeah. And I could use your help getting the world to love again. All of us, in fact, all of us, whether you're a celebrity, a non-celebrity, a person who nobody knows, you're just as important. There is no difference. There are no real. The only reason a celebrity is a celebrity, by the way, is that more people are talking about them, or they've been in the news, or they've been on a show. I used to know a lot of the quote unquote reality celebrities. I met a lot of people like I'll have to show you someday some of the various people. Fat Mama from what was that? The Who Wants to Be a Superhero. I knew her. I interviewed her for a show once, and she introduced me to many of the other players in that. Stan Lee's Who Wants to Be a Superhero. I knew Adrian Curry and Christopher Knight very intimately at that time through. Basically met him through MySpace at the time, and then I was on Adrian Curry's first show on Now Live, and later had my own show on Now Live. That was how I started, in fact, here on the internet. Back over, I was just thinking, 10 years ago. Yeah, it's my 10th year of broadcast here on the internet this year. I started in 2006. Where did 10 years go? Oh my goodness! I think you could. My hair wasn't quite as gray then, and I had more of it. Um, I still am pretty good for my age, though. I've had a checkup, and everything is panning out good. So that's a good thing, right? Yeah. All right, enough about me, because this ain't about me. It's about us, we, the whole 9 yards of what love is all about. And I thought we would go talk about a few things here. I found a really cool little article I wanted to read to you guys, kind of dramatize it, because when I read stuff, I like to give it a little extra oomph. And someday I'll put this stuff on the board so you don't have to just stare at my ugly mug for the rest of the show. We'll have more graphics stuff on here. Anyway, all right. 10 tips for life's greatest challenge. This is from zenhabits.net. 10 tips for life's greatest challenge. Love thy enemy. Woo! It's easy enough to be friendly to one's friends, but to befriend the one who regards himself as your enemy is the quintessence of any true religion. The other is mere business, according to Gandhi. Whether you're a Christian or not, there's something in the teachings of Jesus that's worth contemplation. For anyone who seeks to be a better person, his urging is that we love our enemies. Not just love your neighbor, which in itself can be a bit of a difficult thing, but love your enemies. It's a powerful message. It turns out to be one of the greatest challenges of life. Why is this message an important one, even if you're not a Christian? I'm not here to discuss Christian teachings, and I'm certainly will talk about those things along when I talk, but again, I don't want to espouse any religion as being greater than another or any as lesser. What I'm trying to do is find this unified place of love, so bear with me, because I probably believe as you do, and I don't believe as you do. We're going to differ in various places, but don't panic. I'm trying to get us together. Let's go back to what I'm saying. I was sort of went off the subject. I'm not here to discuss Christian teachings, but to address universal problems found in every human being, no matter what your religion or non-religion. And this is a universal problem, the hatred we feel for other people, hatred that wells up inside us and causes destructive actions for people who might have harmed us in some way, but in the end, are fellow human beings who we must live with in a common society. And it's an idea that was taught not only by Christ, but by Buddha, Gandhi, and many other great people in religions. This still might sound a bit grand or preachy, so let me bring this down to everyday level. Is there anyone in your life who you hate and just can't stand? Maybe someone who just irritates you to no end, who you resent and feel bitterness towards. If so, are you proud of that? Does it make you happy? I'd submit that most of us have someone like that. In many cases, multiple people in our lives who cause us anger or hatred or at least resentment for something that we've done in the past. I'd also submit that the anger, hatred, and resentment that lives within us is destructive and counterproductive. Let's explore these ideas a little more if you're interested. What does love your enemy mean? Well, it's probably pretty self-explanatory, but I thought it would be good to be clear. Your enemy doesn't just mean the enemy of the state. Of course, we're not talking about terrorists or the French. I'm just kidding. We're talking about people who you really dislike in any way, Who are these people? Maybe someone who has picked on you or called you names or disrespected you in some way, causing you anger. Maybe you hold a grudge against them. Maybe a family member you've had a big fight with. Maybe you've been angry at them for some time. Maybe someone who did something horrible to a loved one, from physically hurting them to hitting them with a car or scarring them from a damaging relationship. Maybe a teacher, or a coworker, or a boss who is mean to you. You get the picture. And what does that mean to love these people? Obviously, it's a non-romantic love, but there's lots of different kinds of non-romantic love. There's the love you have for your children, your siblings, your parents, your best friends. All of these are different in some way, as we talked about earlier. Then there's the love you have for someone who just did something wonderful for you, whether that's someone you know or a complete stranger. There's the love for a child you've never met, but who somehow pulls at your heartstrings. There's the love of your fellow human beings, and this is the love I mean. Have you ever felt non-sexual, non-romantic love for another person who is not a family member or a very close friend? Maybe they did something really nice for you or another person. Maybe you were just feeling really great about humanity right now for whatever reason. And maybe this is just an incredibly human being who inspires you or changes lives or volunteers to help the powerless. To love your enemy is to find in your heart and to put aside any wrongs and to love them as fellow human beings. You don't have to love them like you love your parents or children or best friend. You have loving feelings towards them, and if possible, express it through words or by doing something nice or just simply with a smile. Not easy, I know. Picture the person you dislike most and see if it's easy to find that love for them. Imagine someone who murdered someone you love. That would certainly be an enemy. Could you find it in your heart to love that person? I know that'd be the most difficult thing in my entire life, which brings up the question, why should we? The hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread, said Mother Teresa. Why should I love my enemy? Might sound too corny for many of you, but if so, you might not even be reading this right now. It's okay. This idea might not be for everyone. After all, this person, my enemy, remember I'm reading an article right now, by the way. After all, this person, my enemy, has done something horribly wrong to me. Why on earth would I want to love them? What do I get out of it? This isn't an easy question, and I won't be able to explore the possible answers that would take a book. But let's briefly look at the few strong reasons. One, you'll be happier. If you have anger and resentment inside you, even if you don't think about it all the time, there'll always be times when it surfaces, and that makes you unhappy. It's destructive inwardly. It eats you up. And outwardly, you might even do destructive things to others. That anger also affects others around you, such as your loved ones, who are most affected in some way when you're angry. Even if the anger isn't directed at them, removing the anger from yourself is a positive thing, and it will make you happier overall. You could change that person's life. Your enemy's a human being, and it's very possible that your hatred of that person is a source of grief, tension, or hatred in them. Now, that might feel good to you in a vindictive way, but if you look at it objectively, removing your feelings from the situation, hurting another person is always a bad thing. I think that should be emphasized. I'm going to say it again. Hurting another person for any reason is always a bad thing. Making them happier is a good thing. And interestingly, making someone happier, no matter who that is, can make us happier. You could make a friend. One of the most powerful effects of learning to love your enemies is that your enemy can become your friend. And while it's counterproductive to be fighting with an enemy, it hinders your progress. It is very productive to add new friends to your life. They can help you accomplish things, for example. A new friend, instead of an enemy, makes an incredible difference. And if that enemy is a family member or former friend, reuniting can be a very extremely powerful and important moment in your lives. You can set a better example for others. Our actions set an example for other people in our lives. If you have children, for example, they learn from everything you do. Teaching them to hate is not a positive example, but teaching them to overcome that anger and that hate, to make up with an enemy and to love them, is a better example in life. And frankly, it's better for our society. This one seems obvious to me. It should be obvious to you, but it's important. Our little relationship might not seem to make a difference to society as a whole. Who cares if I hate another person? But if we all hate other people, it creates more divisive, fractured, and angry society. And then what that does, it affects everywhere, from media to culture to politics to business to families being disrupted. And the opposite is true. If we can overcome that hatred and learn to love our neighbor and our enemy, society is going to be better off in so very many ways. And by the way, loving your enemy is a test of you as a person. It may not be important to many people, but it is to me. I would like to think of myself as a good person. How good I am. Man, sometimes I think, am I a good enough person? I'm not. I don't want to say I'm a good person. I am not good. I'm just trying to do my best. But I'm good enough for what I do. So let's say that. Okay. I had to read past that. I had to be honest for a second. You had to stop sometimes and go, wait a minute. I'm reading this, but I'm reading it. I would like to think of myself as a good person, but I do ask, how good am I? Maybe that's what this is asking. Let me go on. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend, said Martin Luther King Jr. 10 tips for how to love your enemy. All right, here we go. Let's say that you think this is a worthy goal. How do we actually go about doing it? So let's start. This is our strategy session. Okay. I can't claim I know all the answers. Just a few person in this article doesn't know all the answers. We're working on all this ourselves. We're all explorers. Everybody's a student of love. There are no masters in love. Sorry. There are no masters in real love. Nobody's mastered it yet. When we get it, the world will change. Haven't gotten it yet. None of us. So that makes us all basically just students of love at the very best. At least in my opinion. That's outside the article and what I'm reading. Let's get back to this for a second. Let's see. Tips for loving your enemy. First, stop, breathe, and detach yourself. When you think of your enemy, you most likely have feelings of anger or something along those lines. Instead of letting those feelings overcome you and determine your actions, stop yourself. Be aware of your feelings. Take a deep breath, or 10, and take a step back. Now see if you can detach yourself. Imagine yourself floating out of your body and looking down at the situation as an objective observer. It's no longer you. This person has no longer done anything to you or someone you love. They've done it to someone else. Seeing the situation objectively is the first step. It's too difficult to overcome the feelings if you're in the middle of the situation. Next, put yourself in their shoes. Now that you've removed yourself from the situation and you're looking down at it from above, try going down into the other person's body and head. Just kind of imagine this and think to yourself, what is this like from their insides? How did they get to be the person they are? What have they gone through? Why would they possibly have done what they did? And how did they feel about it? Yeah, you'll have to use your imagination, but it's worth a little imagination to see this person as a real human being, not just someone who's evil or wrong. All human beings try to do good things, but we all make mistakes. We all have different perspectives. Seeing the situation from the other person's perspective is not very difficult. In fact, it's very important. Seek to understand. That, of course, the objective of putting yourself in their shoes. But it's important to stress here because if you can understand what they did and why they did it, then you can take the next steps to really try to understand, even if you don't really want to. Seek to accept. Instead of fighting over what's happened and who this person is and wanting them to be different and do things differently, just accept them for who they are. Accept what has happened as part of life. Accept that these things can't be that different. Accept because they've already happened. Accept that the person can't be different because that's who they are. This too is a difficult step. But if we cannot accept, we cannot love. Forgive and let go of the past. Maybe the most difficult step of all. I'm sure you saw this coming. Truly, how do you forgive a person for what they've done? How do you forgive them inside yourself? If you've detached yourself, you sought to understand and you've accepted them for what has happened, and it should be easier now. Try to think about this. What happened in the past? It cannot be changed. You can either hate what's happened in the past and change nothing but just stay angry, or you can accept it and move on. Let it go. It will do nothing but eat you up. Once you've let go of the past, let go of your feelings about what this person's done, move on. Those kind of feelings really do you no good. Find something to love. If you can forgive and release those bad feelings, you're left with neutrality. Most likely, you'll want to replace that with what? Love, baby. And how do you do this? You find something in that person to love. It could be anything: their smile, their willingness to help someone, their generosity, their stubbornness, even. Find something that you admire or that you feel is lovable. There's something like that in everybody. You might have to get to know that person better, which in itself may be difficult, but it might be worth it. Number 7, see them as yourself or a loved one. If the above step proves too difficult, it's probably because you don't know that person well enough. Instead, project yourself into them, see them as similar to yourself in some ways, or think of them as similar in some way to a loved one, and use those similarities to find something to love. Find common ground. We have things in common with just about everyone if we look hard enough. It may be common interests shared or common experiences while growing up or working. People you know or people you love in common. Maybe personality traits you share. This common ground will help you relate better to the other person. Here's another very difficult step: opening up your heart. See, our heart tends to remain closed to most people as a defensive mechanism. We're afraid of being vulnerable, of getting rejected or hurt. And yet this closing off of our hearts is what blocks us from happiness many times, what blocks us from forming relationships, what blocks us from loving and finding love. Even if we were able to open our hearts to our loved ones, but no one else, that's limiting ourselves. This is a great challenge and something that can really only happen with practice. Try it by using an enemy. Even if you can just open your heart just a little, that's the only way you can find love for that person. Then it never hurts to do number 10, reach out to them. It's one thing to feel love for that person, but quite another to express it in some way. There are many ways to express love, of course. Some ways you might consider are telling them, saying nice things to them, having an open discussion about what's happened or your feelings, giving them a hug if they'll let you. Always ask first. Doing something nice, sending them smileys or making a joke. Always being careful, of course, because you don't want to ever just turn a person off with humor. Rather, you want to always bring that humor into a kindness, maybe to offset something else you say. Some people think that humor is just being sarcastic. Don't be sarcastic in your first humor with people, but over time, as they get to know you, then they can know you're sarcastic. But reach out, be a lover of humanity. That's all I want to do, is be a lover of humanity. I want to give. Why come on here? Right now, it's not about making money or being famous or popular. I've played in that arena. It's not all that interesting to me. I much rather open up on the internet and be myself and be straightforward and try to say all the things I've wanted to say, and in different ways have over the years. I've been on here for many years, guys. Nothing new. It's a new way of coming out, of being here, of sharing. You can always go back in my history, see my history as Adonis King and as Jesus of Zion. It goes back quite a ways. Had many different little handles along. Well, those are the 3 major ones, but never had sock accounts though. Never played in that game. Never played the weird, MySpace. Remember MySpace? That was where I was really like, I had this one thing that I did. Basically, I had over 6,000 friends. I was on a radio show at one point. It was popular, and that just like one day I come back on and there were like 500 friends or 600. It was just a bunch of people. I had that happen recently too here on Facebook. I never have completely figured out why. I guess it was I was gone for 3 months. People talked about me. I have no clue. There was a lot of junk in there too. I had to clear out. I had to accept everybody and then go back and figure out who's just trying to take advantage of me or who's for real, who are the cyber hookers or whatever they call them. But you got to be real with each other, folks. Only real can lead to what I consider to be real love. Now, some people on the flip side, I want to talk about some of the darker aspects of love. I think that's important, don't you? I mean, we've hit on some of the stuff that's good, but loving your enemy, now that's a tough one. But here's an even tougher one, something we call tough love. This is when the real battle comes down. This is when we find out where the rubber meets the road. There were times in my life where tough love had to be applied to me. I didn't like it, but it helped me to see myself. Time when I had to have a shovel in the face, and then a mirror, and then a hug. I'll explain that whole thing sometime to you on another show. There's a whole deep story behind that. But tough love is a hard one. I'm just going to go to Wikipedia here just to look at what tough love is, because that's the easiest source for just basic general information of what the kind I'm looking for at this point. So it says tough love is an expression used when someone treats another person harshly or sternly with the intent to help them in the long run. The phrase was evidently coined by Bill Milliken when he wrote the book Tough Love in 1968 and has been used by numerous authors since then. In most uses, there must be some actual love or feeling of affection between the harsh or stern treatment to be defined as tough love. For example, genuinely concerned parents refusing to support their drug-addicted child financially until he or she enters drug rehabilitation would be said to be practicing tough love. Athletic coaches who maintain strict rules and highly demanding training regimens, but who care about their players, could also be said to be practicing tough love. Tough love boot camps for teenagers have been described as child abuse, and the National Institutes of Health noted that get tough treatments do not work, and there is some evidence that they may make the problem worse. Interesting little twist in this one, huh? Then there's evidence to suggest that the British call tough love can be beneficial to the development of preferred character traits in children up to 5 years old. However, the British definition used by these researchers is more similar to the concept of authoritative parenting, whereas American ideas about tough love are closer to the notion of authoritarian parenting, which has been linked with negative outcomes in other research. Authoritative parenting versus authoritarian parenting. Shall we look it up? Yes, let's do it. We've got time. I'm going to check out authoritative parenting. It's a psychological construct representing standard strategies that parents use in their child rearing. The quality of parenting can be more essential than the quality of time spent with the child. For instance, a parent can spend an entire afternoon with his or her child, yet the parent may be engaged in a different activity and not demonstrating enough interest towards the child. Parenting styles are the representation of how parents respond and demand of their children. Parenting practices are specific behaviors, while parenting styles represent broader patterns of parenting practices. There are various theories and opinions on the ways to rear children, as well as differing levels of time and effort that parents are willing to invest. This looks like they're trying to look for something that's really much more inclusive in this. Distinction with parenting. Well, and the reason I look at parenting, by the way, is because parental love is one of the forms of love, and often is the most constructive or destructive form of early love. How we form our opinions of like what a husband and wife is, what a mother and father is, and let me be perfectly accepting, a mother or father. Still relationships that are being defined in different ways in our society. It is very confusing. In fact, our society right now, because of its distance and its judgmentalness of one to another, has brought us further apart rather than bringing us together. We're talking about tough love. The kind of tough love that I want, actually, is the kind of tough love that is willing to take a stand for love, but doesn't just love because it's going to get something out of it, but that loves because it wants the world to change. And so it's willing to take on not just the feelings of love, but also the responsibilities that love brings. And that's tough for most of us because it requires a commitment. We live in a world of commitment-phobic people, people afraid to make commitments. And many of you probably listening have trouble sometimes making commitments to things. Or maybe you're like the opposite of that. I know, I got myself in trouble once because I just I was like, hey, I can do that, and yeah, I'll do that, and I can take this on, and I can do, because I was all like just on fire I want to do some great things. The problem is you take on too much. Everybody's got a limit to what they can do. And so, unfortunately, if you get too much on your plate, you start to fail at just about everything that's on the plate. And it all, if things are out of balance and you're a waiter, it all falls off. It starts to fall this way. The rest of it goes this way. And then it's very embarrassing. And I had that happen in my life. I took on too much. So I know it's possible to get out of balance. It's possible to be too much this and too little that. There are people who've argued with me, and they brought up the idea that love, what if a country's at war and there's the enemies coming in and they're going to kill these children, and you have the ability to either step back and do nothing and say, well, I love, and so I'm going to not do this, or do you step forward and you do what you can to keep those children from being harmed? It's a tough question. Different religions would even answer you differently. For instance, a Jehovah's Witness would tell you, no, you don't even raise a finger. That's we don't get involved in any kind of warfare or battle. And there's some people who would say, no, I'd grab a pitchfork and I'd slam it through the people who are, what I'm saying? There's people who will take that tack. And what intent to me becomes the answer. When it really comes down to is, what's your intent? Was your intent to harm somebody, for example, or was it to protect those children? Was it out of love, or was it out of greed or some selfish endeavor? Because the intent to me would be, if there's any kind of judgment to be had, would be in that. I've often found the word intent helps with people like, I used to have a lot of friends who served in Vietnam. Now I'm old enough to know some actual Vietnam vets. Maybe you do too, because they're still around. They never got the love coming back. They missed a lot of love, because what happened was the whole nation kind of turned against them. I'm kind of an old hippie, so don't get me wrong. I'm anti-war, but they got sent out there and they saw some of the deepest, darkest crap you could ever imagine. They came back, nobody helped them. Even to this day, this is happening with war. There's things worse than what's going on in Vietnam happening in the world today, but they don't show us on the media. Is that love? I think we need to see these things. That's love. Tough love would be looking at them and taking that stand, whatever it is. And sometimes, yes, you got to take a stand. Yes, sometimes you got to be aggressive with your love to protect. At least that's what I would do. But you got to use your own heart. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here just to give you my thoughts and my ideas and what I've learned through the years. None of my teachings or anything that you can't learn somewhere else. I was hoping to inspire people to learn, to think, to question, to look past things, how to be careful that you don't get hurt. The internet's filled with a lot of ways to get hurt, to get into trouble, even with the law. Believe me, I know personally of a case right now, which I'll tell more about. I've already said too much about it already, but it's a case in which the internet was involved, which could put somebody away for a little while. Yes, now you can get in trouble without even leaving your house. But why am I here? What is this show that I do about? I'm not even sure. I mostly just kind of go with my gut. Today I sat down and kind of planned out a few things I wanted to talk about. I tried to incorporate some of the things I'm even going through right now in my life, because hidden within all of that is still words for me. I don't discount the fact that much of my own talk actually is me, but that's a humbling thing. I hope I always can be humble about what I do. But man, I hope that I can use the power of love to change the world. And I hope that each one of you who feels so led or so desirous can do the same. I care about you, each one of you, because you're all part of this human family, regardless of your color, regardless of your political opinion, your religion. I believe in you. The question I ask you today is, do you believe in you? Do you love yourself? Do you see the same vision I see of a world that once we get this down, personally, each one of us, the power it could carry? Because if you are, I want to get to know you. I want to have you as a friend on Facebook. I want to have you as a friend here. I want to see us getting together, not with leadership, because this isn't about like I don't want to be like the guru. I just want to be one of you guys. I want to work together on this. I want you guys to do most of the work. I don't have time to love the world every day, 24/7. I do it to the best of my ability, but I'm just saying I can't be on the internet and I can't be doing shows all the time. So I kind of like leave it up to you. If you want this thing to grow and to develop, tell your friends. You know, you have the right to bring me up if you want. If I've helped you in any way. Or make fun of me. It's okay too. I'm not too proud. No. Because I've made fun of myself over the internet in one way or another for years. My humor is based on self-effacing humor. I used to do things just to get laughs. That would be like one time I went to the coast, because I'm on the Oregon coast, right? I went with this friend of mine, and we went to Agate Beach to look for agates. And my dad brought, you know, back then we had Super 8 cameras, you know, it was this little camera, and you get these really weird little strips of plastic that you play through a projector. Kind of video before video was around without sound. Anyway, you could get some with sound, but this one didn't. So my dad was filming this thing, and I'm thinking, hey, you know what would be really funny right now is if I tripped and I fell into the water. That would look really cool on film. So I planned it out. As I'm walking along, I'm waving, and boom, I go crashing into the water. And when the film came back, my dad, it went from me walking, waving, cut, break, cut to me walking wet. He totally messed up and did not catch my fall. I wanted to self-efface. I was a very wet trip, by the way. I was cold after that. The Oregon coast is nice, but it's a little chilly. So what this becomes is kind of up to us. It can be a movement. It could be, I like to call it love power, baby. So if you want to hashtag something, if you're into the hashtagging revolution, how about just love power? Let's point people to love power. Because there is a lot of power in love. Accept it. Take it into yourself. Be that love power. You got a battle on for you in this world. This world would like to take control of you. The only way you're going to have control of you is to decide, like I did, that for the most part, I'm just going to be me. People are either going to have to take it or leave it. If you don't like it, bye. Or, hello, I'm crazy. Hello, make fun of me. Hello, why not? You know, there's always going to be people that like that or hate me. Everybody's going to have haters. Everybody's going to have mockers. Anybody that speaks my message has never been all that popular, because I'm not really into the gossipy thing. You're not going to come here and I'm going to tell you, you know what, Lady Gaga and So-So were seen together. You ain't going to get that shit here. You're just going to get honest, straightforward, me communicating. And if you also, I do these little live shows too on Facebook. They're kind of like this. So I don't know. It's just what I do now. I get up in front of people and I just talk by chatting into a camera. I'm like the crazy old man who talks to himself, only who's crazier, me or the one listening? Anyway. Where are we at? We are at 4:19. Oh my God, I'm supposed to have another 45 minutes of show and I've completely run out. Let's go back over here, see what's going on, see if anybody's over on the board here. Guess not right now. That's cool. This is too new for some people. Some go like, I didn't even know this was happening. When did you do this? It was actually Sunday 4:19 here in the Pacific Northwest, which means I've been on. for 1 hour and 19 minutes. And I'll be on here occasionally. At least I'm going to try and be on here at least once a month if I can on Axiom Curve. If you haven't joined the Axiom Curve community, please do that. Way they come over to the board. Axiom Curve, of course, is a website that for people who are, some of them, to some people, they might see it as an activist website. I think it's just, for some, it's a spiritual community. For some, it's kind of what you bring to it. So bring yourself to it and see what it's all about. I mean, for me, the reason I do what I do is a little different than what some of my friends do. Some of you guys are activists, and I support you. But every activist needs somebody to be the rah, rah, rah team, behind you. And as long as what you're doing is in love, I'm going to rah, rah, rah you, even if you wear a mask, okay? Even if you do that. Or you're a security officer, hello? Anyway. This is when the show gets crazy because I really don't have anything planned past this point. So really, I'm probably going to get out of here a little bit early, you guys. I know I got a 2-hour block of time, but eventually we're going to have guests and stuff, and that will take up more of the time, and I'll be able to be on here and have more to talk about. And I'm kind of learning this back again because it's been a while since I've actually done any kind of show like this, other than just being on the air, doing my little daily thing that I do when I do it. And that just, I don't have a time table in there, so bear with me. But again, if you want me on Facebook, James B. Kingsley on Facebook. You can go over to my I got YouTube, I got what else do I got? I'm all over the place, but I'm only active in a couple of places right now just because I don't have enough time. So Facebook and YouTube is where I'm kind of active now, and I probably will be doing some little shows kind of like this. It'll be a little different, I don't know, on my channel to just get used to doing this, whatever this is I'm doing. Let me get back to my screen here. I haven't been watching myself the whole time. Oh, look, there I am with drink in hand. Cheers, mates. Anyway, so I'm going to be getting myself out of here for right now. I will learn to do more on here, and we'll have more graphics, and maybe I'll put some screenshots and things down the road. But I got to get used to this because it is a new thing. So today I just wanted to spend time kind of putting the preface out there. That's what I do. I talk about love. I'm a love warrior. I seek love in the world, compassion in the world, caring in the world. I'm seeking all the people who want to walk along with me in this love warrior path, this love power path. Love power, baby. If you want love in the world, you got to be the love in the world. Can't leave it up to other people or just be thinking about yourself. Give without getting, and you'll get everything you need. At least that's what I'm learning in life. It's a learning experience. Whether you're young or old, we're still learning. Anybody who tells you they know everything about everything or tries to claim they have all the answers, that person doesn't, just so you know. The person who's really the wisest often says, well, you know what, I'm not sure, but let's work together to find out. Because to me, that's what love's about, right? Not about judging other people, but about finding a way to unite differing ideas, whether they be right or left. It's probably backwards, but whether they be right or left, those are my hands, right or left. You're right, left. I don't even know how you're seeing this. But anyway, when we can do this, even if we don't do this, we'll be one step closer to where I believe we can be. I do care about you. I love each one of you. I'm here to be a part of your life and whatever that means to you. And thank you. As the words of many people say, namaste. And as I say, be the love that you want to see in the world. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for being a part of Axiom Curve and all the things that I'm involved in, whether you were with Resistance Radio or whatever. I appreciate each one of you. Thank you. We'll see you again soon.